What's up guys, and welcome back to another EVE Online video. Today it's here at last. I'm really excited because today the EVE Havoc expansion is going live. Really pumped. There's been quite a lot of obviously build up around this, all the stuff with the Deathless and Zazac and all that good stuff that we've been looking at for the last couple of months. We got a load of it teased during FanFest, and I'm really excited because we got the release notes out on Thursday or Friday, and now it's here. So a little bit of transparency to start with. The EVE partners were given access to CC to help playtest just a little bit with the final things, so that CCP could remove any last-minute bugs before launch, but also to enable us to produce the content we want to produce to promote the expansion without rushing it out on the day of release. So it enables us to produce a slightly higher quality content. We've just had the weekend, but yeah, just a little bit of transparency there. So I'm currently on the test server where we've got access to this content. But as soon as you're watching this video, it is out on Tranquility, and just so you're aware, the partners will have all lost access to the test server again by the time this video is released. We just had it for a couple of days. So that's out of the way. You can see what I'm sat in already. We'll touch on that in a minute. But what I want to do, and hopefully this video won't go too long, but there's a lot to cover. I'm going to go through the Havoc expansion notes, and we'll just go through it in order, and we'll try and get as much sort of in-game gameplay for each of the sections as we go through. So we'll start with the Havoc expansions coming on the 14th of November, which is today. We invite you to join the paid discussion on Discord and EVE forums. And here are the notes. There's so much. Like, this is we're going to go through as much as we can, but there's a lot to cover. So we are starting with aligning with pirates. So this is what we've been building up to. It's really cool. We can now choose to enlist directly with Angel or Garista's pirates, which means instead of having to enlist with obviously Empire militia and always fighting on behalf of the empires, you can now choose to really live out your dreams as a pirate and align with the Angel or Garistas. You can enlist with them in any station which is owned by them. So you need to go, if you want to enlist with Angels, you have to go to Curse and Fountain. If you want to go to Garistas, you have to go to a Venal station to be able to enlist. Minimum standings requirement of -2 or better without modifications. This is probably quite important because that means all your skill books like criminal connections, diplomacy, all that kind of stuff won't impact. You have to have a flat standing of -2 or better to be able to join. So if you need to go run some epic arcs to do so, then do that. I have got a video which I'll link up here. Other bits of important information here: Angel Cartel are at war with Amara and Mimitar. Garista's pirates are at war with Caldari and Galente. And so the things you need to be aware of: if you enlist with one of these pirate factions, with Angel or Garistas, then the empires you are at war with, so if you enlist with Angel, the Amar and Mimitar, any members of their militias can freely engage you anywhere in New Eden. No police punishment at all. Similarly, the other way around, you can also engage them, but you have to be aware that if you're going to enlist with one of these, similar to faction warfare, if you're going to enlist with one of these pirate entities, you might be flying around high-sec, and a militia pilot from Amar can just turn up and kill you. So if you're going to join, don't start hauling and things unless you're prepared. Capsuleers enlisted with Angel Cartel will be attacked by factional warfare Empire police in Amara and Mimitar Empire space if there is not an active insurgency present. So if you're flying around Amara and Mimitar space outside of an insurgency, which we'll cover in a second, the Empire police will attack you, and similarly if you're Garistas but in a different region, But one of the good things, you get perks in Zazac, which is really cool. You don't have to pay for the gates to enter, and you can put jump clones in, you can rent offices, and the Deathless Shipcaster, which I'll also cover with some gameplay in a second. And of course, you can take part in the Insurgency gameplay, sow chaos, spread corruption, all while enriching yourself. And it looks like, if the numbers stay the same on live release, you really can enrich yourself if you can do it. So let's have a quick look in game at enlisting. I am down in Curse because I'm going to enlist with the Angels, because that's who I got my standings up with. So I'm down in Curse in one of their stations, which is fine. So there's a few ways you can access this in game. The easiest is open your Neocom menu and go to Activities, and you will see a new option here, called Insurgencies. That's one way to get there. You can also get there through the Factional Warfare tab. If you open that up, and you've got the 4 empires down here, you can click this one, and it'll take you to the Insurgencies window. Similarly, when you're in the Insurgencies window, you can go back to Factional Warfare. And of course, you can also access all of it through the agency as well, which is... I did have it, apologies, here we go. Encounters, Pirate Insurgencies and Factional Warfare, and then you can do them that way. So we will go to Pirate Insurgencies. You get quite a lot of info in here. I would very much recommend taking the time to read it. Of course, we've got a lot to cover, so I'm not going to go through it all in detail here, but do read it. There's a guide. Again, really important Insurgency Systems guide. Let's go back to here. Pirate Insurgency guide. Lots and lots of information. So really make sure you read it. All of this stuff is brand new. And I've got limited time in this video. There will be really detailed... I know some of the other EVE partners, like Magaibo, for example, he's producing a deep dive into a lot of this stuff, so make sure you go check that out. But we just want to sign up, so let's open the Pirate Enlistment window, and you're left with this window, Factional Warfare Enlistment. Do you want to sign up for Empire? Do you want to sign up for the Pirates? We're going to go Pirates. Nice little bit of lore. You got Garistas, Freedom and Anarchy, Angel, Seize Your Future, so we're going Angel. And then you get some more description in here, what they're asking you to do, what will happen if you do join, and the fact that you can be freely engaged. The benefits that you get, which in this case, free access to Zazac, the Deathless Shipcaster, and have benefits in the Deathless Circle Station. That will be rewarded with loyalty points that can be spent at the Malachim Zealots loyalty point store, which is where you'll be able to get all the Angel ships, including the new ones. And conflict tells you who you are at war with and where. And then over on the right hand side, you can choose to enlist yourself, your corporation, or your alliance. Let's just go to Garistas quickly so you can see what it looks like if you don't have the relevant standings. Couple of things. Cannot enlist here, so this tells you you're in the wrong place and you need to go and get in the correct station. And when you hit initiate enlistment, it tells you where the nearest one is and how to get there. So, Angel Cartel, enlist me. Are you certain? Yes. And so just a reminder, just like current factional warfare, you can enlist whilst remaining in your existing corporation without enlisting the corporation. If you're just enlisted as a individual, it doesn't impact the rest of your corporation. So once you're in, there's a bunch of stuff again. You need to hit learn more. You can unenlist, but if you unenlist, there's then a 24-hour cooldown before you can enlist with anything else. Learned that the hard way yesterday when I was trying to make content. But also this window now gives you a map of all the active insurgency in your local area. Sorry, not in your local area. The insurgency, belonging to the faction that you've enlisted with. So this is the Angel Insurgency in Amar and Mimitar space. Over here, what have we got over here? Affected by the Insurgency. Pirate FOB is in Renarel. So it doesn't actually say this, but this is the Caldari. Sorry, the Garistas Insurgency, because this is in Galente space, and therefore FOB is there, and it expands over here. So that's quite a large insurgency, and this is the Angel one. So we'll dive into more detail there in a second, but we've enlisted now, and that's all that this part of the thing was about. Next is to head to Zazac and the Deathless HQ station. This is really cool stuff, really, really cool. So I'm just going to undock because I'm only one jump away from Zazac. GTAC 0 in Curse connects directly. I guess another thing to mention is now that with this expansion, let's have a quick look. Zazac, you can now set autopilot and everything to get you to Zazac. So you can set your destination, set autopilot, so you can treat it like a normal system now for all of that stuff. But of course, if you're not enlisted, you will still have to pay to use the gates, which I won't have to now, which is all grand. So while we warp, thanks in part to the efforts of loyalist capsuleers, the Deathless has managed to unlock more of Zazac's potential. The Fulcrum, which is the station, has expanded services from being powered up through the activation of the Stellar Harvester built into the station, and the Deathless Shipcaster is also now fully functional, which is pretty cool. The Fulcrum is now open to anyone who is not enlisted with an Empire militia. So as long as you are not literally enlisted with the Empire militia, you can come in and dock, which is awesome. The Fulcrum features a new Deathless hangar environment, really, really cool. Look at it in a second. Players who are enlisted for the Angel Cartel will get access to special Angel Cartel environment, and same for the Garistas. Players that have an active Deathless retribution timer are unable to dock regardless of their allegiance. And so that's if you kind of commit crimes in Zazac, you end up with a Deathless retribution timer and then are unable to dock. Everyone, that is. The Fulcrum will allow neutral players to use most of the facilities in the station, including repair, fitting, market, insurance, and industry facilities, so you can do most stuff. Some additional facilities and powerful industry bonuses, which is interesting, are available exclusively to players who are enlisted with the pirates. You can do everything in industry, basically: manufacturing, research, copying, and invention. Fulcrum's got pretty good bonuses, particularly to the time efficiency if you're building Angel or Garista subcapital ships. That's available to everyone. But then if you're enlisted with a pirate faction, you get a huge reduction to the job cost. You can get access to the clone bay only if you're enlisted, jump clone bay, which is cool, so you can jump into Zazac. And if you've got a corporation or alliance that are enlisted, they can rent the offices. Deathless Shipcaster, which we're also going to look at, is operational, but basically you can only use it to jump to the relevant insurgency for the faction that you are aligned with. No one else can use it. And this is what we mentioned: Zazac's been removed from the autopilot blacklist. And also important to note that bombs and interdictor bubbles can now be used. So people will start bubbling and bombing, and accept that they get retribution timers. So we have jumped into Zazac, which still looks awesome. There are retribution emplacements, so there are gate guns. But if you go to the edge of the bubbles, you will still take damage and still die, so still be very careful of that. We will start by docking in the Fulcrum. There's, as far as I've been able to tell, there's no new aesthetic to the outside of the Fulcrum. We still can't see much of it. I like walking through this soup in in Zazac. But yeah, you still can't see much of the fulcrum. It's still too massive to be able to see it, which is still pretty cool. But the there you go. There's the cloud. But we can dock, which is super exciting. These clouds are awesome. So in we go. Here he is. MacGyver is docked in here. Another partner, Laura. Okay, so I mean I'm not going to say much in here. We'll just have a look around. Let me control F9. Proper steampunk vibes. Everything's a bit unfinished. Copper and exposed and rust everywhere. And the whole vibe is completely different. So obviously you've got deathless stuff around. It pops up. These advertising hoardings change. Advertising all the boosters and drugs and stuff you can take. Zydrian burn boosters. We see Mind Flood pops up. Garista's armaments there. There's Mind Flood. There's a big old Garista's logo. We've got Angel stuff around somewhere. Here's Angel Cartel stuff. Really, really cool. And so there's a Garista's aligned Bastard heading through there. We've got some Macarials moving around. A couple of Macarials up here. Really cool. And you can see that it's massive. That the station is clearly huge. I don't think I've got any other ships in here, but like regular citadels and stuff now, you would see your other ships that you've got docked in here, dotted around the place. But really, really cool. Domination Overdrive Injector. That's a good point. There are also new faction modules. Ooh, also exciting. Let's get stuff back on. As mentioned, there are all the stations you can manufacture, like they said. Do I have anything irrelevant here? No, not currently. But yeah, all that good stuff. Pretty good bonuses, especially if you're gonna manufacture the pirate aligned ships. You get a 70% reduction in time required and a 6% in material efficiency. So definitely do some building in here on subcap pirate ships. Really cool place. Anyway, that's enough ogling of this. We will quickly look at loyalty point store while I'm in here, so that you can see what you can get a hold of. So inside the fulcrum, there's the loyalty point store for both factions. The Malakim Zealots, which is the Angels, and the Commando Guri, which is the Garistas. You've got all of their stuff, but both in the fulcrum, so you can use this as a proper base. Here, we're going to touch on it later because it's in the patch notes, but here you can buy the blueprint for the Azariel Titan, the new Angel Titan. Quite expensive, 150 billion ISK and 150 million loyalty points for the blueprint. Then you still got to build it, but you know. Then we've got Domination Multispectrum Hardener, which might be new. I know some of the Domination stuff is new. Macarial BPCs, which now have come down in price and are cheaper, and so on, and same for the Garistas. Garistas multi-spec. Yes, so that's all in here. Now we're going to go check out the shipcaster. Lou's also logged in. Finishing off their content. So yeah, we'll go look at the shipcaster because that's also quite cool. I've not used shipcasters before. It's not a mechanic I'm used to, so I've learnt this here. So, just looks so cool, man. But yes, the shipcaster is just available on the overview. You can warp straight to it. And what this one does, excuse me, once you land, is every minute, you can see here now we've landed on grid, there is, that's a shame, I should initiate launch now. But basically, it alternates between the forward operating bases in the insurgencies for the two factions. It spends 1 minute active, and then 1 minute charging, and then 1 minute active, and so on. So right now you can see we are charging, and then once we've finished charging, you'll be able to take this gate to Rinorel, which is currently, and this will move, is currently the Guristas forward operating base. So that's where they've got their stuff going on, that's where they're launching their insurgency from. Once it's charged, which we will wait 30 seconds for, it'll then be active for 1 minute and allows you, anyone that's enlisted with the Guristas, to activate it and jump. So you just hit initiate launch here and then you can jump. But I'm obviously Angel aligned now, and so we can see here that this little timer over here to Floss Eswin, which is the forward operating base for the Angels, will be available in 2 minutes 2 seconds. There's the activity. So if we were now Guristas aligned, we could jump to Renorel. A little bit more information about the system, so you know kind of what you're jumping into as well. But we will skip forward 2 minutes and take it to Floss Eswin. Actually, I mean, rather than skip the 2 minutes, I can just use the 2 minutes to start going through the pirate insurgency stuff. Watch this video, important. And now, with the aid from the Deathless, the completed Zazac shipcaster has rejuvenated, and the rejuvenated fulcrum station. The Angel Cartel and Guristas pirates are now launching daring raids into Empire factional warfare zones. Brand new style of gameplay, which is really exciting. Will exist in faction warfare systems only. Sorry, it will start in faction warfare systems only, but can expand to include additional solar systems, as long as they're above nullsec. And interestingly here, they can leak into high security space, all the way up to 0.7. Which is gonna will introduce some dynamics, because we all know what EVE players are like when they want to achieve something. Some of these pirates will be able to have impact heavily on some of the high sec mechanic systems. Thinking about Heck, for example, which is 0.5 market hub vulnerable. Insurgencies have multiple phases and are centered around a hub system, which has the pirate forward operating base in, which in this case, our hub system as Angels will be Floss Eswin for now, and that's, to be fair, that's just on the test server. Don't know where it's going to be on the Tranquility necessarily. That's active. We can now initiate launch, and we take the shipcaster straight to Floss Eswin, where we land next to the forward operating base, and we can see a Phoenix, which is always fun. That's an empty Phoenix, so I could just jump into that. But you land, when you take the shipcaster, you land on the forward operating base of your relevant cartel pirate. So let's have a quick look at it, because the forward operating bases are new as well, and they are also very cool. So who knows what they're doing here? I mean, are they manufacturing something? Not sure. Got some weird tech going on. Looks a bit Triglavian-esque with the balls. Can't remember what they're called. We've got a Deathless logo spinning around, and then a fairly hideous looking, but very nice at the same time, structure that we can dock in. So I'm going to dock in the forward operating base. It's also in the overview. You can see it here as Angel Cartel FOB. They are fairly limited in where they can spawn, which is quite interesting. Any temperate planet in the faction warfare warzone, which will start an insurgency from that system and include 4 nearby solar systems to start with. So when an insurgency starts, it will always start with 5 systems, the one with the forward operating base, and 4 nearby solar systems. But yeah, the FOB can only spawn on a temperate planet. Insurgency will start in the forecasting phase, which basically tells us that both sides, Empire Militia and pirates, that in 48 hours the insurgency will begin, and tells everyone where the FOB is going to be placed. During this phase, no content will be present, so the pirates can't go and do anything, but also the forward operating base cannot be attacked. So it will anchor, you can't kind of do anything about it, and during that time it is dockable, which basically gives everyone the opportunity to get ready, move stuff in and out, get prepped, but also, of course, is going to provide quite a bit of chaos, because if everyone knows where it's going to be spawning, the pirates have got to move their assets in to be able to launch the insurgency. Then, you know, there's going to be lots of killing even outside of the active insurgency. Moves to the active phase, and all the insurgency gameplay starts, which we'll talk about in a second. During the active phase, you can increase the corruption or suppression by completing that content. Corruption, of course, is if you successfully complete pirate activities, and suppression is if you're successfully completing Empire activities. The forward operating base is usually invulnerable, so cannot be damaged, but if the anti-pirates can fully suppress enough systems, which is pretty hard, it will become vulnerable and they'll be able to attack it. It will then enter a 24-hour reinforcement timer-ish, and if they destroy it, they will end the insurgency as a win. If the pirates are able to fully corrupt enough systems, however, they'll be able to plunder everything that isn't nailed down, take temporary control of the factional warfare occupancy of the solar system, and win the insurgency for the pirate side. This can cause havoc in factional warfare, with several new front lines being created around the FOB system. So, I'm going to confess to not knowing enough about factional warfare to really comment on what this means. Sounds pretty serious. Like they're literally able to take control of the systems, it'll push out the front lines, and eventually they give it back, but they'll ransack everything. Interesting to find out what that means as well, whether literally everything, structures, that kind of stuff, who knows. But someone who knows more about factional warfare might be able to comment on the what this really means, so please drop a comment if you do know. Players who contribute to corruption for the pirates and suppression for the empires will get large amounts of ISK and loyalty points, which we've already seen a bit of evidence for, particularly when the insurgency ends. The side that wins gets the bigger bonus payout. This is an important thing to notice. High security systems which are affected by an insurgency will not spawn Empire Faction Warfare Police and Criminal Police NPCs. So pirates and players with low security status, or if they are aligned with pirate militia or vice versa, can fly in there freely and will not be aggressed by the police. So effectively turning them into low security systems for the duration, I believe. And then, as part of the insurgency, there are a bunch of activities that are brand new that we can do. Again, I don't think I've got enough time in this video to actually run it. But there will be plenty of other content. I already know that several people are putting out a mining ambush video, which is really cool. And there's several sites, so that's why we're not going to run them all now. But Corporate Outpost Raid. This site is very similar to existing faction warfare gameplay. Capture sites. Pirate players can capture the outpost by remaining in the capture point when the Mordu Legion NPCs protecting the site have been destroyed, while anti-pirates can do the same by destroying pirate NPCs. And similarly to faction warfare, comes in a variety of sizes, and all pirate and T2 ships that can enter them, similar to existing faction warfare complexes. So this is new, but it's based on the same mechanics. But what is quite cool, if there's one in the system, I will just go jump into one actually. If there's not one in the system, I'll skip to when I found one. Because what is very cool is the NPCs that are in the sites. So I think I can run to. So you, I guess just for clarity, what you've got down here in the cosmic signatures, if it lets me expand this, all the Amar ones in this system are the existing factional warfare sites. The Angel ones are the new ones. So the Angel small outpost, Angel medium outpost are what has been described here, these corporate outpost raids. The current ship I'm in is too big to go into one of them, so I'll just carry on for now, because I can go into the mining op ambush, so we'll go in there instead in a second. But function in the same way as factional warfare, except there is a lot of enemy NPCs, but also you have allied NPCs supporting you as well, and of course lots of PvP potential. Now, brand new style of gameplay, mining ambush. In this site, a friendly or rorqual, friendly depends on your perspective, I guess, interesting phrasing here. An or rorqual has been tackled by pirates. As a pirate, fight off the Mordu mercenaries that arrive to protect it, and eventually the rorqual will give in and pay a handsome ransom to your pirate allies. And they will pass along the spoils in the form of LP and system corruption. If you prefer blood instead of LP, you can destroy the rorqual for a bit of loot and system corruption. Anti-pirate players can choose to help the rorqual by destroying the pirate ransomed NPCs until the rorqual will eventually be able to warp off and leave, providing an LP reward to the anti-pirates and additional suppression to the system. This is an open site where any ships can enter. A fleet of well-fit cruisers should be able to handle the site. The mining ambush has a shared payout of up to 10 pilots before the rewards are diminished. So this mentions a fleet of well-fit cruisers. I am of course in a new faction battle cruiser, but I was able to complete the site fine in this. It did take a minute, but we'll warp in and take a quick look while we're in there. This is also a cool bit of gameplay. I'm moving to local because we get some really nice local chat, which I've missed from different recently. Get bit of what's it called, environment building in local chat. So I'll just expand this so we can see it all a bit more clearly. And you can see there's already stuff going on when you arrive. Rex, another empty devoter, so someone's been running this already. Nothing's come into local yet, which is a bit of a surprise. But what they have mentioned, yeah, okay, so someone's already running it, has been running it, which is why nothing's spawned. Let me prep this stuff. You can see an enemy rorqual, an enemy if you're a pirate, not an enemy if you are Empire, and then a bunch of NPCs. So we've got blue for me are the Angel, so the pirate NPCs, and red are the Mordu's legions. It will be the opposite way around. And what I need to do is destroy the various Mordu's vessels, and then with the intention being eventually the rorqual, you have to kill several waves, and the rorqual pays the ransom to the pirates and moves on. Now, again, other people will do a deeper dive into demonstrating this, but I have heard it is possible. Basically, if you choose to kill the Rorqual before they pay the ransom, you don't get the loyalty points, but they do drop loot. We don't know what that loot is yet. They haven't been dropping it on the test server, but they will drop loot. But if you want both and you want to perform like a real pirate, it is possible to accept the ransom and then tackle the Rorqual and kill it. That is possible, and then you get both elements. So I'm not going to get the environmental stuff because someone had already started it, which is a bit of a shame. And we won't stick around here because it does take a little while. But while we're just sat here, let's flick back. The final one is the pirate laundering centres, and similarly counterinsurgency outposts in the Empire space. Once systems reach corruption and suppression thresholds, roaming NPCs which warp around the solar system will appear. Sometimes rare named NPCs will be present, and those can be killed with valuable items, which can then be turned in at these laundering centres, and vice versa for the counterinsurgency. That's interesting. I've not something I've been able to test yet. I've not seen any of these roaming pirates, named ones. They will be anywhere. They're not necessarily in sight. They might be on gates. They might be in belts. They could be on planets. You just have to go looking for them. But basically, what that then is this laundering facility. You get that loot. You head to the laundering facility and drop it off. Nice and easy, but you have to remember with all of this stuff, like especially in the early days, but forever, I'm hoping there are going to be a lot of other players here ready and available to kill you. Like, I see no reason why there couldn't be people cloaked up here just waiting to come and take on anyone that tries to drop off some stuff. There will be a lot. Like, we're a test server, so there's not many people about, but early days, this content has generated a lot of excitement. So many people are going to go and sign up for the pirates. The current enlisted militia, so these are the items, the current enlisted militia are all going to come down here and try and take on. Like, there's going to be a lot going on, and it's full, like, open season PvP. So, like, this fit I'm running now, for example, if I wasn't in a fleet, I'd just be dead. I haven't got anything to keep me going. But yes, so these are the things that get dropped by the roaming named entities. See, some friends have just warped in. Oh, so okay, here you go. So if you were Empire aligned, I think you could kill this guy. Where's he gone? And they should drop the loot because it's named Zohar's Chosen Kizriel. So I believe that's who would drop the loot. I'm not going to fight him, of course. He's an ally of mine. But he'll drop this, and then you go and drop it off, and you get rewards, basically, when you drop it off. So that's the new content. I know I've really just glossed over it, but it's still taken 10 minutes. So yeah, go and check out other people's more detailed videos. Please. Last bit about it is corruption and suppression. As insurgency content is completed by pirate or anti-pirate sides, systems will increase in corruption or suppression, which we've covered. When certain thresholds of corruption or suppression are reached, the system will go up to the next level. Each stage can bring in new effects and shape the rules of the system. So it's all covered in here, and we will talk about it. While insurgency content is currently the only way to raise or lower suppression, it's possible for any system in the game to have a corruption or suppression value, and many of the effects apply outside insurgencies. That's interesting. In future, we may add features which raise or decrease these values in a system. So to begin with, it's just going to be Insurgency content, but this is now in the game and it's in every system. So a CCP can play with stuff. So let's have a quick look at the corruption. What was that? I'm still here, right? Sounded very much like something breaking. Maybe this thing. Well, I mean, we've got plenty. We're gonna have to go check all this content out when it really is live. Anyway, corruption levels. Increased PvP loot drops for pirates, so encourages the pirates to go and kill people. Faction, navy, and criminal NPCs stop spawning in high-sec systems. So that's straight away. So as soon as corruption level 1, the NPCs will stop spawning. Stage 2, that PvP loot drop is doubled, and roaming pirate spawns will appear and warp around the system. These NPCs will engage anyone who is not aligned to the current pirate faction. Interesting, so it's not just Empire Militia, they will engage anyone who's not aligned to the current pirate faction leading the insurgency. So I think even if you were Guaristas running around Angel Space, you would be attacked, I believe. And that's just at stage 2. Stage 3 still goes up, PvP loot drops, and unique to stage 3, the system will spread the insurgency to an adjacent system if this is possible. If not possible, it will spread to any system adjacent to the insurgency as a whole. But this only happens in stage 3, which is probably important to note. Stage 4 and 5, that goes away. But stage 3 is when the corruption the insurgency will spread. Stage 4 again, it goes up, and now pirate aligned militia gain warp speed bonuses to help get around quickly and kill more people. And then at maximum corruption, we've got big loot drop bonus, still got the warp speed bonus. Sentry guns in low sec will no longer do anything. And then there's a couple of things here which are you need to pay attention to basically when you're out playing. In high sec, attacking ships, structures and drones won't get a criminal timer or a Concord response. So the high sec element is gone, and that's on anyone, not just pirates or Empire Militia. However, if you then kill the pod, Concord will come and get you. So important distinction there, you need to bear that in mind. You will be able to freely engage ships, no problem, but if you pod someone, Concord will come get you. And then in low sec, sentry guns will ignore all criminal timers, and you'll be able to launch and place bubbles and bombs. So effectively becomes null sec, effectively, I believe. And then the suppression is kind of the opposite. I don't really know why they don't get increased PvP loot drops, but basically you get better bounties from NPCs in a suppression system, and security status gain. Increased Empire Militia loyalty point games, that's quite nice. At stage 2. The corruption gains for the system are reduced by 30%. So once suppression reaches level 3, it becomes much harder to increase the corruption level by 30%. But it's at level 3 as well that the roaming NPCs will appear, which is interesting because for corruption it was stage 2. Stage 4, everything goes up through here, which is nice, and you get 10% bonus to the range of stasis webifiers and warp scrams if you're Empire aligned. Nice. And then again, stage 5, everything goes up, and and unique in Insurgency systems, elite sentry guns will be deployed by the roaming enforcer NPCs. These sentry guns are vastly more powerful than the regular sentry guns, including ECM and target painting effects, in addition to vastly increased DPS. These sentry guns are also immune to the sentry gun disabling effects from Corruption 5. And so I guess that's something important to note, is corruption and suppression can increase at the same time. You can see in this system we're at 4 and 1, but if I open the Insurgencies window, we will probably be able to find Arda 5 and 0. There you go. Whisper at the moment has corruption stage 3 and suppression stage 2. So, and Turner I think is the other way around, suppression all the way around at 5, asset 4 and 2 on suppression. So it's possible to raise them both at the same time, and why that's important is both at stage 5 sentry guns will now completely ignore criminal timers, which basically means they're disabled, they don't do anything at stage 5 corruption, but at stage 5 suppression they will put down better sentry guns that ignore this suppression up here. So yeah, so that's corruption and suppression in a nutshell. It's relatively self-explanatory, and you can see the status of everything from the Insurgencies window, so important to pay attention to what's going on. Everything you need to know, by the way, of course it's all in the patch notes, so go and read these, but in the Insurgencies window you can hit learn more, and again it takes you back to the agency where there is so much detail, and it tells you how to do all of it, gives you a lot of information about everything, all the corruption and stuff in here, and then again, like we were talking about earlier, how to run and where to find the new sites. So everything you need is in game in the agency. It's really, really useful to go and read it. It's a super, super useful resource. Alrighty, where are we? 47 minutes. Woohoo! We have the LP stores, where of course, interesting, Garista shipyards and Satoyo will stop spawning as it used to, and the rewards will be rolled into the new LP store. I don't know what that means. Blood Raider shipyards will continue to spawn in the wild. Are they? Oh, they're going to be the forward operating bases that used to exist, right? So Blood Raiders and Garistas would set up NPC structures and go around attacking people. I guess Garistas are not going to do that anymore because they've got this content. Players enlisted with Angel or Garistas will have access to the brand new LP store. I guess because you can only earn LP through the Insurgency gameplay, anyone that's not enlisted will not have access to the LP stores because they won't be able to earn LP in any way. The costs are outlined here. I don't need to go into that detail, I don't think, other than point out that Titans are really expensive. There was something though, I think it's a bit later on, that I wanted to mention. Yeah. So, and then also super exciting is the new ships. It's been widely advertised that there are 5 new ships. We have already seen the 2 destroyers, the Mechabal and the Mamba. They've been available in game for a little while. They've been incredibly expensive. I think Loru might have lost a 7 billion ISK Mamba, for example. It's just a destroyer, so they've been incredibly expensive. That will change now. The the BPCs cost nothing. Yeah, I mean, just worth mentioning actually, because I'm really interested to see if these values will stay in place. Is this a lot of LP? No. Running one site, if you can successfully run a mining op ambush, you'll get somewhere in the region of 40 to 45,000 LP. I ran an open outpost and I got 48,000 LP. So I could get 4 Mamba and Mechabel blueprints with that. or straight into an alligator blueprint. So that's not very much. Obviously 150 million is, but yeah. And there are new pirate modules, as it mentions here, such as Domination Gyrostablers, Dracoristas Ballistic Control Systems that have been introduced to the game. Really cool, especially if you can buy them through this. So what it should allow is those that are pirate aligned will end up flying fully pirate kitted out ships. So you might, if you're running an alligator like I'm in now, you might throw some Dracoristas ballistic control systems in, and so on, and you end up with the Dracoristas what's this? Multi-spectrum shield hardener, and things to really bling your ship but keep it in line with the faction and the lore. So Mechabal and Mamba already spoken about in plenty of videos across the game, so we're not going to touch on them. But we've got the battle cruisers, which are very cool. I'm actually going to start with the alligator, and I'll come back to the Kizriel because I'm more excited about the Kizriel in the end. I was really excited about the alligator. I fly the Gila and the rattlesnake a lot. I'm a big fan of the Garista ships. All of my skills are in, well, not all, I've got quite a lot, but I'm maxed out on missiles and shields and drones, so it works perfectly. And I just kind of threw a fit together for this. I'm not going to claim it's a good fit. It doesn't achieve very much. It might be decent for PvE. Do not use this for PvP unless you've got Logi. But basically, it's kind of blob fit with drones and missiles, and it's hams. And you run like if I swap. Let me simulate, and I'll put the Rage in. It runs 1100 DPS across the drones, which is 539. That's hammerheads, because we've got the drone bonuses to mediums, big drone bonuses to mediums. So they hit like a truck, and so 2 drones do 500 DPS. But then you've also got the 600 coming from the hams. So we end up with over 1100 DPS in combined with 100,000 EHP. And I was looking at that going, hey, that's not bad. That's pretty good. I've got no regen. I do have a command burst, which is contributing to the HP, because I've got shield harmonizing in currently. We could swap to shield extension, see what that does. Increases it a bit. But yeah, so over 100,000 EHP with 1100 DPS is not to be sniffed at. And I got quite excited about that. But then I thought I'd compare it to a Drake Navy, because that's sort of the equivalent, right? It's a faction Drake hull, which is what this is. This looks cooler because from above it's got all the lumps and bumps and things. It looks like it genuinely looks like an alligator. But let's have a quick look at the Drake Navy. Do I still have a fit saved? Drake. We end up with very similar numbers. So I've got slightly lower DPS because I haven't put the you've had to go reactor control unit to be able to fit everything in with the CPU, and I've gone damage control instead of drone damage amps, obviously because the drones are kind of pointless. And these are not pointless, but But so we still have 900 DPS with 135,000 EHP. And that's without a charge in, actually. So shield extension charge takes us to 146. So a lot more EHP, another 40,000 at the expense of 200 DPS. So similar, but I don't know currently what the alligator's niche is going to be. I can't see it particularly. My guess is PvE, similar to the Healer and the Rattlesnake. But drones, I like drones, but CCP have been working quite hard to make drones less viable to counter the AFK gameplay in nullsec. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people come up with as the solution and the niche for an alligator, because there are a couple of things across here. The Caldari ship battlecruiser skill does shield resistances, and it's the Galente that does DPS, but it's specifically for heavy and heavy assault missiles, and you are also damage type locked to kinetic and thermal. Obviously there's the command burst. Your drones are fast, 12.5%, with obviously the big buffer. The 500% drone damage increases the drone DPS, but obviously reduces you to 2, but it still increases it overall. But then you've still got the 250% hit points. So if you're going to run a Caldari Net Vesper or something, you'll have so many EHP. I mean, these hammerheads have 2000 structure, so that's not bad. But so that's the alligator. Still excited to fly it. When the price comes down, I'm sure I will buy one. Once it's affordable, of course. But yeah, I'm less excited now that I compared it to a Drake Navy issue than I was before. That being said, while I get docked up, the Kizreel, the Angel Battlecruiser, amazing. It looks amazing. It's a brand new hull design, which I'm super excited about. Like, the Alligator's cool, looks great, but it's still a Drake with some differences. This is a brand new ship design, and it looks so good. Like the curves, the edges, like it's glorious. I think I've got one in here, so let me just have a check, and we'll get into it. Ship hangar, here it is. Oh, this is the inside of the forward operating base, by the way. Again, a very different design to the fulcrum, but it still follows the look from the outside, which I think is really cool. So these big entrances and exits here on either side, when we go outside, they're the things running down the sides of the structure, and then through here you can see the full length of the structure. So let's undock real quick and just have a look at that, so you can see what I mean. And we'll see where we undock from, just to see if it makes sense. Yes, it does. There you go. So we come out of one of these, and that's what we were looking at. And then on the other side is behind us was that, and then we were looking down the structure through that kind of window. So I think like the attention to detail on the design there, I think is really, really cool. But yes, Kizreel looks gorgeous. Look at that shape. Look at that. Lovely ship. Probably Phoenix over in the background. Oh, look at the angel design in there. Yeah, I mean, it's just glorious. You got your turret hardpoints. And I will actually, it's the same for the alligator. They've got one skin each. So this is the basic. This is what they look like with no skin applied. The skin, the one skin they've done for this, boy, the art team have done a good job. Empyrean Outlaws. Can I make this bigger? I want to show off the skin. It's not going to let me show off the skin. But Steel the Future with a good logo in there. It's too small. I'm not going to be able to show it properly. Can I? Won't let me enlarge this on this server. But check it out in game. Go and have a look at the Empyrean Outlaw skin. It's lovely. And same for the alligator, with a different emblem, I think. So what have we got on the Kizreel then? We have projectile turrets. Medium projectile turrets is where you got to go. 10% to fall off range for Gallente battlecruiser skills. 5% to turret damage with the Minmatar battlecruiser skills. Rate of fire bonus on the roll. Optimal and fall off range again on the roll. And then faster warp speed and acceleration, so the ship warps quickly, and it can also fit command burst. But I think the important thing here is the optimal and fall off range bonuses for this ship, because I'm not going to take credit for this fit. I actually just found the ship lying around. I think it was one of CCP's that they just kind of left. But I jumped in it to have a look because I'm not turrets. I'm not a projectile guy, and we've got medium 720mm howitzers in here. Now my skills won't be maxed out, but it's only achieving 562 DPS. And important to mention, I don't have maxed out skills. Quake might not be the best. What if we go Tremor? Does that? What if we go Tremor? No, reduces the DPS significantly. So Quake is the damage one then. Still 100,000 EHP, which we must have extenders in again. Yeah, this should fit the command burst, but you've got no power grid, so it might not fit. Yeah, so there's a lot to look at on this ship, and I'm not going to recommend a fit. I don't know one. I'm not the right person. But I'm a bit surprised at the DPS, considering the Alligator with a similar fit, you know, just buffer shield. The Alligator is achieving double the DPS for the same EHP. And it goes a little bit slower, as you'd expect. The Alligator runs about 1100 meters per second with the same prop mod on, so it does go slower. But I guess the big thing here is, yeah, optimal and fall off range. These are relatively close range weapon systems. The howitzer, actually, the artillery, we can increase the DPS by going short range weapons. I do know stuff sometimes. Let's go modules, turrets and launchers. We want, it was projectiles, wasn't it? So instead of artillery, we will go autocannons now. Mediums, let's unfit all of you. We might not be able to fit all of these because it's obviously not perfect, but let's go, I don't know, what have we got down in Tech 2s? Let's go 220 Vulcans, see where we end up. It definitely lets us fit those. So what if we fit the bigger ones instead? The 425 autocannons. Yeah, I mean, no problem at all. That's interesting. And now I expect the DPS to be... Can I not fit Quakes now? For God's sake. Charges. What can you be used with? Hail. Hail is the increased DPS. 50%, yep. Let's chuck Hail in there. Okay, so we have already gone up. We're now 800 DPS, and I guess if you've got good skills, you will push on to closer to 1,000. That makes sense then. But the range will be greatly reduced. 2,000 optimal. Again, my Gallente battlecruiser skills I think aren't great. Spaceship command. Gallente destroyer down here. Battlecruiser's only at 3, so we can ramp that up to 5, and this would push up a little bit. But okay, that's the niche then. High speed with increased range. Okay, interesting. But again, really interested to see where people put that. But yeah, I almost don't really care because it just looks so nice. The like huge props to the CCP art team on everything they've produced through Havoc and before, like all this everything recently. has been outstanding. Zazac, fulcrum, all of that stuff has been so good, and they continue to impress. So that's the ships. What have we got left? Because we're now over an hour. There is the Azariel. That's not available on the test server. So it's going to be a while probably until we see one of these in game, and much longer till we see one in a YouTube video would be my guess. I don't know anything about capitals, so I'm not really going to comment on any of this, except for, again, I think it's going to look glorious. So let's move on. This one I think is interesting. The updated Pirate Titan build costs. These changes are big. Like, obviously I'm not going to build one, but these are really significant changes, and it might have pretty big impact on markets, because like significant changes. So if we just look at the Vanquisher, for example, this specifically is the Pirate Titans. It does say here, so Vanquisher, Komodo, Moloch. The super caps are going to have their stuff looked at, but after Havoc. This is just the Titans. But look at this. Capital propulsion engines currently requires 1200. As of today, 80. Just 80 from 1200. These are pretty much all minerals required to build these things, but like, that's insane. And then less than 10% for the weapon hard points, 4,500 down to 400. Sensor clusters 200 from 945. Like, we're going from, that's what, I'm not going to do the math, but like maybe 7.5%, 9%, 9%, 30%. Whatever 1/6 is in a percent. Like, the reductions are huge across the board. So the amount of minerals you need to build these now are essentially nothing compared to what it was before. You're talking maybe 10% the mineral requirement, unless they're changing these blueprints, which I haven't seen. I don't think they are. Neuralink conduits is remaining the same, which is fine. But even the interlink communications has been halved for both. And then this stuff's remaining the same. However, they are adding, whatever this is, the modified capital microprocessor specific for that faction. I don't know what that is. So, does it exist? Must do, right? It's a commodity which you have to find. Or I guess maybe it'll be possible to get it from launch point stores, but you can't build it. Which is interesting. Again, I don't build capitals, so I don't know anything about these, but yeah, I don't know where you get them. I know nothing about that at all. But they do happen. They exist for the Vehement and the Vendetta as well, which suggests it's already something you definitely need, and isn't new to anyone that builds capitals. I guess, maybe, just on the Titan. Unclear. This is quite an exciting change. The Edencom ships. I'm sure you've probably noticed you don't see many of them about still. They've been, Edencom have been around for a long time. Same amount of time as Triglavian almost. Trig ships are everywhere. You almost can't move for Drekavacs and Lashaks and Kikimoras and the like. But Edencom, not so much. You see the very occasional Stormbringer, maybe. That's kind of it. So these changes are interesting and I think are really positive. Basically, the skill books are going to be available at stations for both the ships and the Vorton projectors. These changes, I'm amazed they didn't already happen. Okay, so all variants of the Pyrolancia damage boosters will now boost Vorton projector damage as well. Had no idea they didn't already, and that seems like it was an oversight. But then it's not just that. So that the Helicon login boosters will benefit Vorton projectors. The wormhole environments will also now affect Vorton projectors. I'm amazed they didn't before, because if you're in a Wolf Raya, you get huge bonuses to small weapon damage, but apparently not Vorton projectors until today. Same for Magnetar wormholes and black hole wormholes. They've added new mutaplasmids for the Vorton tuning systems, which I don't know too much about, but that's quite cool. And faction and officer variants of the weapon upgrade module. You can obtain these new mutaplasmids and weapon upgrades by aiding the empires against pirate insurgencies. Awesome. Okay. So they have introduced this as a benefit to the militias. That's cool. Whole load of stuff about the shipcasters, but as I mentioned earlier, I do not know anything about shipcasters, so not much for me personally to cover here, except again the upgrade costs have been reduced by 50%. So, I mean, actually even more than 50. It says approximately 50%, but the nanotransistors are 25%. So again, I mean, this is probably going to have a smaller impact on industry, but not so. Like, we're either going to see a lot more Titans, faction Titans, and shipcasters, or we're going to see a drop in price of some stuff. Increase signature, increase the radius of the shipcaster beacon so that you appear in a much wider area of space around them when jumping through. Okay. Added faction warfare militia NPCs to the landing sites as guards. That makes sense. They will attack anyone who is not aligned with that faction. Okay. This is just a quick bit. I believe this means that Corporation Alliance emblems are now available on every ship. So there's of course the new ships introduced to the game, and I guess these ones were missing it before. So I believe this is now every ship in the game. Well, every main ship. I don't know if you could put one on a Alliance tournament ship, for example. Not sure, but yes, unless these are Alliance tournament ships. Are they? Let's have a quick look at a Bane. What's a Bane? Ship. Doesn't... Oh, okay. Lancer Dreadnoughts. Yes, exactly. New ship. Okay. We're an hour and 12 minutes in, because this is such a big change. I was thinking about making this 2 videos, but I'm just pushing through. If you've made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate it. This one now, the project types, is genuinely the thing I'm most excited about. Sorry, how far did we scroll down there? Here we go. The new rework to corporation projects, I'm so excited about. I will be doing a dedicated video on corporation projects. So I am just kind of going to gloss over it here. Watch this video, but it genuinely is going to make such a big difference to what we do. So, couple things. Introduction of a corporation project manager role, which is great. Means it's not just directors and CEOs that can issue them now. There will be a project manager role, which basically we'll be able to provide them with a wallet access so that they can then set up and run corporation projects themselves. Doesn't have to be directors. Great news. Duplication of projects means it's just easier to get them set up, which is also, which is also very nice. No complaints there. But this is one of the big ones. Project payouts. We now have the ability to pay directly from corporation projects, which is huge. They were pretty, like, the framework was there and it was great, and it's obviously paved the way to this, but projects in their previous form were really, really difficult to manage because you couldn't incentivize anyone with direct payouts. Now, you can allocate an amount of cash that will be paid out automatically to everyone that completes the stuff. Really, really cool. As mentioned, I'm going to do a deeper dive into this, but let's just have a really quick look because it's game changer, honestly. Social corporation. I've got a couple set up already, but if you go projects, if you're a project manager or a director or a CEO, create new, select contribution method. There's a whole load more of different project types, which I'm also really, really excited about. So this one, scan signatures, massive. You can now reward, like you can finally reward people for scanning things, and for a wormhole corporation and a wormhole director or CEO, that's huge. We can finally reward directly and incentivize people to go and scan and keep the chain scanned out and scan all the signatures and stuff. So cool. And then there's a couple more, remote repair or remote shield boost to reward Logi pilots, which is great. Manufacturing. So basically, you can now set proper manufacturing projects. We need X to be built and where, and get paid for it. A couple of reasons you might want to do that. Basically, you can force up the industry cost and things in certain systems. They've introduced faction warfare complexes into this, so it now ties directly into faction warfare and presumably insurgencies. That's actually what's not clear here, is whether insurgencies are included as part of the faction warfare complexes, and destroying Capsuleer's ships now, as opposed to just doing the damage type. The type of ship that you wanted to do damage to. So it used to be do 5,000 units of damage to a Heron. Now it's destroy specific Capsuleer's ships, which is great. So really quick look, let's do a scanning one, which I've already got active. So contribution method, I want my corporation to go out and scan signatures in Wormhole. So I want them to do any. You can set whatever type of cosmic signature you like, but I want them to go and scan any because we live in Wormhole space, and no specific solar system because just go out and build chain. Number of signatures to be scanned. This is the target for the total number. So let's say I want this to be running for quite a long time. So I want 10,000 signatures scanned so that this runs for, I don't know, let's ballpark it, a week or something. You'll be surprised in JSpace how many signatures get scanned. Let's call it, I'm going to call it get scanning 2. You can add a description, but it's not necessary, but it helps obviously with how you want it to be run. You can choose the career path. Again, this will affect how it shows up, I think, in the opportunities view. So leave it on Explorer if you want to do scanning. It recommends it for you. If you go onto PvP stuff, it defaults to Soldier of Fortune and so on. And then you can set the payout, which is again only optional. You don't have to do this, but of course you want to. It uses funds from the active wallet, so make sure you got the right wallet set, depending on who you are running this. But this is a value of reward per signature. Important thing to note, because I want 10,000 signatures run. So if 1,000 ISK per signature, not very much money. Let's do 10,000 ISK per signature. So I can have mine. No, let's do 100,000 just to be nice. What that means is if every time a member completely scans a signature down, they will get 100,000 ISK deposited directly into their wallet. and it obviously it then says there's a total project cost of 1 billion ISK because we've got 100,000 per signature and we're running it for 10,000 signatures. And it comes in here and everyone can see what's possible. So you can see that there's 3 active projects. This isn't just a director view. This is anyone can see this in the corporation. They just can't see this button. There's 3 active projects. I know I could potentially go and earn 1.23 billion ISK based on these projects. Which ones do I want to run? Oh, look at this, get scanning 2. They will pay me... Do you have to do the maths yourself? So you have to do the maths yourself, that's interesting. But they will pay me 100,000 ISK per signature. Cool, I'm going to go out and scan some signatures down. And you get paid directly. No one... This is now held in escrow, so it comes out of the corporation wallet straight away and is held in escrow and then pays immediately. And if I were to cancel, so here's duplicate. If I were to delete or cancel the project, which I think I can do in here, view admin details, delete. When I hit delete, you should see 1 billion ISK come back into the wallet. So let's, well, we've got 6.1, delete. Should come out of escrow. Maybe it's not an immediate effect. Corporation wallet. There you go, 7.1. So it does come out immediately, which is lovely. Transactions, corporation projects minus, corporation projects plus, and that's nice. A link from the wallet directly to the corporation project. That's cool. That's really cool, actually. Nice. So yes, I went a bit more detail than I intended, but there'll be a full dedicated video on that to come. But I'm super excited about that as someone who needs to run a corporation. Yes. There is also a whole load of new content within the new player experience, which MPE stands for. I don't have a new account to be able to show this, but there's like a whole new adventure, I think, within opportunities adventure. During part 2, players can now pause the adventure anytime they want. That's nice. Objective tracking has been upgraded. Improved guidance for those who stray from the path to help bring them back into the adventure. That's also good. So you really can pause and like kind of leave, and then it will encourage you back into it. New sites have appeared at the sun. Okay. New conversations and saying farewell. Nice. And then the air opportunities has also undergone a new look, so make sure you go and check it out. Covers projects, covers everything actually. You use opportunities to find out what is available to you. It's been expanded to include all of these elements here. So I think the opportunities window, one day might replace the agency, I guess. That's my guess at where opportunities is going. Activities, opportunities. Let me open this up. So you've got all of this down the left here now. So you could just go to all, and that's sort of everything that's directly available to me in my current situation. These corporation projects, epic arcs. It's nice. Looks really nice. Everything just looks so good, man. Home front operations that are in here. Mining anomalies, ice belts, yeah, agent missions if I'd spoken to any, and they're also filtered, much smaller. Yeah, so it's looking really good at the moment, and I think this is eventually going to replace the agency, would be my guess. And that must be close to the bottom by now. There's quite a lot on it, so you go and read it because it does cover all the changes, and then UI improvements. So this is quite nice. Omega users are going to be able to customize the way everything looks. So you can now go into settings, which has also changed how it looks. I don't think it's going to stay just a 1/3 window, but you can see it's all changed. And you can go to display and graphics, and where's it gone? Where's it gone? I had it earlier, so let me just go back. Color customization. Settings menu has changed. Typography also changing. I had it. It's got to be in display and graphics. Was it because I'm not in full screen? Seems unlikely. Fixed window. Oh, UI. Sorry, it's not in display and graphics. User interface. And down here, I've got mine set to match the active ship, but you can turn that off and create a whole new theme yourself, and it should change all of the colors of stuff. So if I let's go something really garish. There you go. Straight away, it's all coming in green, where green is necessary. And if I can just change that, and it changes in real time as we do it, which I think is very cool. Let's go green. Background tint. Green. See? Accent. Just make it green. And the alerts are also going to be green. Yeah. So I think I'm not 100% sure what it applies to. That didn't save, which is a bit annoying. But you can change them all, so you can see it will change in the background as we go through. So ore is a bit more yellow, and so on. So I use theme to match active ship. But yes, that is everything. I probably should have split this into 2 videos, but I'm really quite excited, and I hope you've stuck with it. Sorry, it's around an hour and a half. As mentioned, I will be bringing out dedicated video on corporation projects. Make sure you go and check out the other creators for the really. They'll be bringing out really detailed dives on the Insurgency stuff. That's going to be chaos. I'm so excited about it. It's just going to be absolute carnage. Which it's supposed to be. This is called Havoc. But it really is going to be. There's going to be so many deaths, PvP everywhere. There'll be obviously a lot of very, very good PvPers in there taking advantage of the situation. There will be a lot of not very good PvPers getting in there to try and experience the new content and dying hard. If you do that, please don't get discouraged by it. Either just go back to what you were doing in EVE and then you were enjoying, or chat to some people, watch some videos, and find out how you might be able to do it better. But you will be a fair target if you sign up to the pirate militia to a lot of people. And of course, there's not just going to be militia from both sides around. There's going to attract a lot of other pirates that aren't aligned to Angels. Our current existing pirates are all going to be attracted into those systems to go and take and kill and rob people and do all that kind of good stuff. So take care, enjoy yourself, and let's get going with this new content. It's so good, and I just want to big up CCP for what they're doing at the moment. Super cool. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you sticking with me if you've made it this far. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.